Hey.
And just like we're back in action. Like we're back in action.
Just wanted to say, the Sober Boys podcast does not in any way represent the official opinion of Alcoholics Anonymous as a program of recovery. We want to help you in your recovery, but these are our own opinion, Taylor's opinion and my opinion.
Tell him, Drew.
Yep. And so if you are searching for official help, we're going to leave a few little links down there the bottom of this here episode for you to check out.
Yes.
And that is a PSA announcement for you guys before this episode.
We'll put that in every episode from here on out. Welcome. Episode 4.
My name's Drew and I'm an alcoholic.
I'm Taylor and I'm an alcoholic.
This is the Sober Boys podcast with a Z.
Sober Boys with a Z with video now.
Hey, we're going to look creepily at the video.
In
3, 2, 1. That was nice and creepy.
Really good.
That felt really good.
Felt appropriate.
Rule number 1 of any acting class to the camera is to look directly at the camera. To connect with the soul of the viewer.
Yeah, and to get the little man out of the camera.
Mm-hmm. There's always a little guy in there. You're like, get out of there.
He lives in there, but I want to live in there.
Hey, man. What'd you do to stay sober this week or today? You get to choose.
This week or today. Oh, I had a long week. I had a good week. I had a busy week with work.
Good.
Every day I prayed in the morning. I'm big on praying in the morning.
Nice.
Hit my knees right over there. This is
the knees down.
My apartment. This is my mansion. I live in a mansion.
Yeah.
Ghost.
There's ghosts in Taylor's mansion fiddling around with the cords that are connecting to the camera, recording us. It's okay. They're friendly ghosts.
I'm at peace with it.
Ain't nothing but a bunch of Caspers.
Little tiny child ghosts.
Yeah, they look like little sperm.
So anyways, what did I do? Yeah, I prayed a lot, called other alcoholics. The usual. I felt really good on Wednesday. I was listening to a speaker tape at my client's house, putting up these like solar lights.
How'd you find said speaker tape? Was it on
Sobercast?
Sobercast?
Yeah. Good speaker tapes on there.
We can leave that down there. A little link to Sobercast.
Hey, Sobercast, it's good. Speaker tapes and stuff.
It's good speaker tapes.
It's a good resource. I was listening to it, and I was like, oh, God, I'm so connected to God right now. And it was good. And
I know, that's great.
Yeah.
But what I'm laughing at is you just sometimes turn over to the camera and be like, you know what, guys?
Well, I'm perfect.
Sometimes
I'm right
helpful.
Here. You have to turn your neck.
Yeah. It's harder for me to be like, you know what? That's a pretty good idea.
It's my apartment, my rules.
What was the speaker tape about? You remember?
It was a lady. Steps 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, nice.
It was really that.
Nice.
It'll probably. Who was that?
Huh?
You said, "Oh, nice," and then you did a little voice.
Oh, that was a character from a show. We don't have time to go through that. We're talking about why you were so moved by the speaker tape.
Because I don't remember the specifics, but she was talking about God, and I've been really big on God lately, and feeling connected to God and praying and all that stuff. I'm really been feeling it lately. So
that's great.
It's very good. Feels very good. It's big. It's big for me.
Yeah.
I think it's big for me.
I think I need to start meditating and start, as the big book thumpers say, listening through meditation a little bit more. Because I've just been busy and I've been kind of going through the motions in terms of prayer, which is something you can do. So we've got the yin and yang of like, you're very connected right now.
Yeah.
I'm not so much. But that doesn't mean I'm gonna go out there and drink.
Is that what you did to stay sober this week? Went through the motions?
I went through the motions, baby. No, I was out of town last week.
Yeah.
In California.
Yeah.
To have a face-to-face producer meeting with Kathleen.
The Windy State.
Good old Windy State, California. The Dancing Bear State. No, I went to go see my 2-year-old nephew have his second birthday.
2-year-old nephew?
Yeah, 2-year-old nephew, super cute.
Oh.
Ain't nothing but loves nothing more than dunking his basketball into his little tiny basketball net in his room. He's super cute. This week I had to catch up on a bunch of work because I was out of town.
Yeah. And
I did just go through the motions. I went to some very good meetings, but no, I can't say that anything was like memorable.
We had a good speaker group. Is the group on? Can we say the group we go to on Monday?
We've said it before. It's Boys to Men in Atlanta.
It's a good group. Men's meeting. No girls.
No girls allowed.
If you do, if you're a girl and you showed up, I'm sure they would let you stay.
Yeah, if you were confused.
And
I've seen that happen.
Don't do it again. No. But if you did it again, like, okay.
Just identify as a man.
But there's a speaker meeting on Monday, and that was good. And then someone got a chip, and his sharing on getting a chip was really nice.
Yes, it was
beautiful.
That meeting's always powerful, and then the anniversary meeting we have at the, I don't know why I did that. It is an anniversary. It's nothing to be, doesn't even need quotations. But the anniversary meeting that we have is really, really powerful, and that was one of the most powerful meetings that I went to this month.
It was good. I went to 2 speaker meetings this week. Second one was even better than the first.
Yeah,
it was really good. One of my sponsor lineage
James did a good job sharing.
James.
Yeah.
That's not his name.
We're not using real names.
We're not allowed.
But James shared, and he did a great job.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I wanted to go to that one.
One thing he said that I really appreciated, because I'm an alcoholic but also a drug addict, is one thing he said was he used meth to treat his alcoholism.
Okay.
Which is great, because you can use, I was talking to my friend, another comic today. We went and got stuff for a
That's
show
his full name, another comic.
Yeah. It was a lady. That was her full name, another comic. But she, I was telling her, like, I can use so many different things to treat my alcoholism. It's not just booze; is just one of the many things that I can use to.
Yeah, there's
fill it.
Yeah, exactly.
Fill the deep.
Fill
hole.
the deep hole.
The deep God-sized.
Sorry.
hole.
Fill the deep hole. There you go.
Sometimes it's candy. Are we gonna get into it?
Yeah.
Is that the plan now?
Yeah.
Wow.
Bill Wilson. Real quick before we start the story, this is Bill Wilson's story. Who started this whole thing? All of AA started the 12 steps. He took a lot from the 12 steps from an Oxford group and other things. So once we go through the actual 12 steps and the story, then we'll go through some of that history. But I think we should just get into it.
All right, everyone, please open your books to page
1. It's a real one. No more
letters.
Roman numerals.
Talk about the Romans.
The Roman Empire died thousands of years ago.
It goes without saying.
Yeah.
I've been saying that a lot lately today. It goes without saying.
And just leaving it open?
Yes.
What goes without saying? It. I said it goes without saying. And I will say, it's very hard for me not to read this in a transatlantic accent. Yeah. I really want to read in a transatlantic, like a war ad in the 30s and 40s, because the first line is "War fever ran high in the New England town to which one the new." So I won't do that. But in my head, sometimes I'll be like,
yeah,
gotta get off that old booze, eh? Are we ready? Steady.
So.
This
Here we go. Bill's story.
Chapter 1, Bill's story.
Chapter 1. And this time we're going to read it at the same time together.
Yeah. Everyone's going to love that while looking at the camera.
Yeah.
That'd be really hard. Because we'd be like...
Yeah. All right, Drew, take it
All right. War fever ran high in the New England town to which we knew young officers from Plattsburgh were assigned. And we were flattered when the first citizens took us to their homes, making us feel heroic. So there's going to be a lot of theme of feeling important and ego, feeding the ego. Mm-hmm. Here was love, applause, war, moments sublime with intervals hilarious. So that's what I felt when I got drunk for the first time. Moments sublime with intervals hilarious.
It was great at the beginning.
Yeah. I was part of life at last, and in the midst, that's important too. I was part of life at last. In the midst of the excitement, I discovered liquor. I forgot the strong warnings and prejudices of my people concerning the drink. In time, we sailed for over there, which is World War I.
Was he in World War I or World War II? Oh, when there were horses still involved.
Yeah, trenches. We talked about this before. The technology was way too advanced, and the battle strategy was not. And so it led to a lot of deaths at the beginning, and then they started to dig trenches so no one would die so fast.
We slowly turned into a World War I podcast.
1917, All Quiet on the Western Front. Those are 2 good movies on Netflix to check out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People got hurt.
Yeah, shell shock. First time shell shock came, PTSD, all that stuff. I was very lonely and again turned to alcohol. We landed in England where I visited Winchester Cathedral. Much moved, I wandered outside. My attention was caught by a doggerel on an old tombstone. And the tombstone read, and this is in quotes, "Here lies a Hampshire grenadier." I guess that's the name of who lies there. "Who caught his death drinking cold small beer. A bunch of them, just like little tiny ones. A good soldier
Mickey's.
is... Yeah.
Seriously, Mickey's?
Oh, yeah.
Little tiny glass bottles?
Oh, God, yeah. Yikes. A good soldier is never forgot. There's no V in there. You just got to roll with it. Never forgot.
Damn near Shakespeare.
Yeah. Whether he dieth by musket or by pot. So, an ominous warning which I failed to heed.
Idiot.
Yeah, so that's just like some poetic foreshadowing that
Yeah.
Bill liked to put in there for his own story. Ominous, yeah, I already said that. 22 and a veteran of foreign wars, I went home at last. I fancy myself a leader, for had not the men of my battery given me special token of appreciation, my talent for leadership, I imagine, would place me at the head of vast enterprises, which I would manage with the utmost assurance.
So did Bill, is it ever talked about if Bill like actually saw a war and like shot guns and like was in firefights and stuff?
I don't think so, but that's some research that we're going to come back for in the
Ooh.
next episode just to make sure.
We're coming back for it.
I'm not sure.
I don't think it's never talked about really.
Man, if you're in battle of World War I, that would make me want to fucking drink.
Yeah.
Or feel something, or
of course.
like try to forget that.
Yeah.
It was insane. Like
Yeah.
what you experienced was insane.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't see any action.
Oh.
Okay.
Now we know.
All right. So, but still, it's,
Still crazy.
still crazy. So he was 22, feeling like he was important or wanting to be important or thinks he should be treated a certain way. Can you remember when you were 22? I would say when I was 22, you've blocked that all out.
No, I'm fresh out of college when I was 22.
Yeah, but I remember in my early 20s believing that, just you wait, like, world.
Yeah.
You'll see.
Yeah.
For me, I was trying to get seen as, like, I guess a comedian actor or whatever like that, and
Me too.
and got hit in the face by the world real quick. But I definitely can relate to how he was feeling at that age.
Yeah.
All right, I'll continue, and then after this paragraph, I'll pass it off to you. I took a night law course and obtained employment as an investigator for a surety company. The drive for success was on. I had proved to the world I was important. I had proved to the world I was important. That is his most, important task to him. My work to me was about Wall Street, and little by little I became interested in the market. Many people lost money, but some became very rich. Why not I? Which?
Some became witches.
Some became very rich for that wascally wabbit. Why not I? I studied economics and business and as well as law. Potential alcoholic that I was, I nearly failed my law course. At one of the finals, I was too drunk to think or write.
Oh, man.
Dude, were you ever hungover in college? I sure was.
I was violently hungover during an English final.
Yeah.
And I just went out in the hallway. I was like, I can't do it, to the professor. And then she gave me the option to retake it, but I was home in Columbus, Ohio, and I just didn't want to go retake it. I was like, I'd just rather retake the class.
I dropped at least 3 classes for not showing up because I was too hungover and just not wanting to do it. There's a teacher that was really sweet and gave me like 3 opportunities to retake an exam, and I would just get drunk and hungover and not accept those opportunities.
She should have known better.
I don't know how I have a fucking degree. I just fell into it. Thanks, Georgia State. Why not I? I studied at one of the finals, I was too drunk to think or write. Though my drinking was not yet continuous, it disturbed my wife. We had long talks when I would still her forebodings by telling her that men of genius conceive their best projects when drunk, that the most majestic constructions of philosophic thought were so derived. By the time I had completed the course, I knew that law was not for me. The inviting maelstrom of Wall Street had me in its grip. That's just a beautiful sentence.
Maelstrom.
Maelstrom's a fun word.
What does it mean?
It's a storm.
Really?
It's a Icelandic storm.
Is it really?
I'm pretty sure.
Is it a weaker storm or a strong?
No, it's a strong storm that pulls you in.
Like the winds are whipping?
Winds are whipping you towards Wall Street.
The gusts are...
Bill wanted to feel verbose, okay? And he's like, the winds.
He's like, this is a good sentence.
This is good. Bill, this is a very important story, and like is the main reason. His story is the main reason why we're here and we're working this program. Yeah. But it's also fun to imagine him writing this and be like, "Yep, just wrote that. Fucking maelstrom came out of my brain."
With typewriter, clack, 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 clack.
Yep, exactly.
Impression of a typewriter.
How did it go? The impression?
Clack, clack, clack.
Clickety clack,
clack,
clackety clack. Beautiful.
Clack, clack, clack.
Back to his story. We did the maelstrom. Business and financial leaders were my heroes. You know, like Jeff Bezos. Out of this alloy of drink and speculation, I convinced to forge the weapon that one day would turn in its flight like a boomerang and all but cut me to ribbons. Oof. He's just feeling himself writing right now. He's just feeling himself. Just feeling himself. Living modestly, my wife and I saved $1,000, which is like $10,000 back then.
Whoa.
I am confident in looking this up. One in like the 20s. $1,000.
$1K. $1,000.
In 19, we'll say
1925. So close to the Great Depression.
Oh, we're getting there. About $17,000.
Okay.
So that's a good chunk of change. It went to certain securities, then cheap and rather unpopular. I rightly imagined that they would someday have a great rise. I failed to persuade my broker friends to send me out looking over factories and managements, but my wife and I decided to go anyway. I had developed a theory that most people lost money in stocks through ignorance in markets. Dumb idiots. I discovered many more reasons later on. We gave up our possessions and off we roared on a motorcycle, the sidecar stuffed with tent, blankets, and a change of clothes, and 3 huge volumes of financial reference service. That's pretty ballsy.
Books.
What?
Books in the sidecar.
Freaking books in the sidecar. What are you, some type of egghead? Some type of Einstein over here?
What if the books got wet?
Yeah, he had tents to cover it.
He would be ruined.
Ain't you seen the Motorcycle Diaries?
No.
It's a movie about Che Guevara.
I don't trust motorcycles.
They paint Che Guevara.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh.
In a very beautiful light. About his motorcycle journey through like Argentina.
Is he a good guy or a bad guy?
We don't have enough time to discuss that.
Oh, okay.
I think he started off with good thoughts and then made bad friends, and ultimately his movement ended with a lot of murders. But you know, communism. What you gonna do? That's the tagline of communism. What you gonna do?
We tried.
We try. Yeah, that's it. Communism. We tried.
We tried to make it good for everyone. But,
I'll finish this reference service. Our friends thought a lunacy commission should be appointed. What are you doing motorcycling about? That's not in there. I just commented that. Perhaps they were right. I had some success at speculation, so we had a little money, but we once worked on a farm for a month to avoid drawing on our small capital. That would be the last honest manual labor on my part for many a day. We covered interesting little postmark there. We covered the whole eastern United States in a year. At the end of it, my reports to Wall Street procured me a position and the use of a large expense account. The exercise of an option brought in more money, leaving us with a profit of several $1,000s for that year. I'd say that's a little successful venture. That highlights another thing about us here, alcoholics. We are not without passion, not without ingenuity. There's a lot of interesting, creative people that are addicted to shit. And so when Bill wanted to do when Bill was denied initially by Wall Street to be like, you don't have enough experience, he's like, fine, I'll just show you. Yeah. And he went out with he went out with his wife, which also highlights how like supportive he found and like what support he found in his partner. That's like another thing, at least for me. I found a very supportive partner that didn't quite. She's never going to 100% understand what I'm going through because she's not one of us, but she was supportive still. So I can identify in a lot of those types.
What's Bill's wife's name again? I forget. We should know. I should know.
Chandra?
No. Oh, no, Chandra. It's not that.
Man, I really should have done some research. Bill Wilson's wife. Lois,
that's right.
we did it.
Lois.
I remember.
mean, she wrote a book and stuff, and she had input on the book.
Yeah.
2 Wives.
Yeah. Yes. When we read Two Wives, we'll bring in like a bunch of wives for the podcast, and they'll help us read it. No, she had a lot of input.
Yeah.
Do you want to continue?
Let's continue.
Ladies
and gentlemen,
Taylor's going to start reading.
Turn to read.
And go.
Oh, God, I'm scared.
You can do it.
I forgot how to read, I think.
No, it's okay.
Well, for the next few years, fortune threw money and applause my way.
Yay! We're both being fortunate right now.
I had arrived. My judgment and ideas were followed by many to the tune of paper millions. What? Do you think he really actually millions or no? Because he was poor eventually. So the great boom of the late 20s was seething and swelling. Another Bill Wilson. Ooh, I'm such a good writer moment. Seething and swelling. The great boom of the late 20s was seething and swelling. Drink was taking an important and exhilarating part in my life. There was loud talk in the jazz places uptown. Everyone spent in thousands and chattered in millions. Scoffers could scoff and be damned. I made a host of fair weather friends.
So drinking buddies.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good for him.
And then the I had arrived part. That's mentioned a lot in meetings and in readings, and a lot of people who've had a lot of time refer back to the I had arrived.
Yeah.
The feeling of importance, feeling of belonging, feeling of being comfortable with oneself. That's what that's a nice goal to have. That's a good thing, but that's what alcohol did for him. He felt like he had arrived. Keyword is I in that.
I.
Selfish son of a bitch.
Self-will's running riot.
Oh man, that riot that Bill's self-will is running is a riot.
That riot is a riot. My drinking assumed more serious proportions. It was big and fat. Continuing all day and almost every night. The remonstrances of my friends terminated. I really got that word out.
You did
the
it.
Remonstrances.
Is that it?
It's not fair for them to divide it up like that.
No. Yeah,
You
it was
really
Ramon-Strances.
Yeah. Bill, what the heck?
I don't think he had a part in that.
This
I
is
think
me talking to Bill Wilson Spirit. What the heck, dude?
I think it's the 4th edition printers that did that.
Who should I be mad at?
The 4th edition printers.
I'm gonna get you.
Leave Bill's soul alone. Gone through enough.
If I could kiss you on the cheek.
If you only knew.
The remonstrances of my friends terminated in a row, and I became a lone wolf. Ooh. Did he lose his friends?
Yeah, because he got too sloppy.
There were many unhappy scenes in our sumptuous apartment. There had been no real infidelity, for loyalty to my wife, helped at times by extreme drunkenness, kept me out of those scrapes.
He's just too drunk to hit on anybody else. It's just like, I just passed out, so I couldn't have cheated on her.
Oh, I could if I wanted to.
Oh, but I got too drunk.
Damn. The drink. In 1929, I contracted golf fever. I couldn't stop playing golf.
Fever?
We went at once to the country. What is golf fever?
You have it. You like golf, right?
Yeah.
There you go. You got it.
Is that really what it is?
I think so.
Golf. It is GOLF. Okay, so maybe
he liked golf and he wanted to be a golfer. That just means he wants to be a golfer.
Man, we went at once to the country. My wife to applaud while I started out to overtake Walter Hagen. It was golf.
It was
Walter Hagen as clubs.
Hagen or Hagen?
Now, who cares?
There is a there's a dude that mentioned Walter Hagen was not the best golfer, but he was the biggest partier on the PGA or whatever professional golf tour back then. So that's why he emulated Walter Hagen, not because he was the best one. I guess he would have said Bobby Jones, but Bobby Jones was a fucking square.
Bobby Jones his course is way too expensive in Atlanta. $50+ to walk 9.
Yeah, he went to Georgia Tech.
Eat my ass.
What a nerd.
Eat my ass.
Oh my God.
Eat it, bite it, and pull it out through my butt.
That's a lot.
Liquor caught up with me much faster than I came up behind Walter. I began to be jittery in the morning. Golf permitted drinking every day and every night. It was fun to carom around the exclusive course which had inspired such awe in me as a lad. I acquired the impeccable coat of tan one sees upon the well-to-do. The local banker watched me whirl fat checks in and out of his till with amused skepticism. I like that paragraph.
Yeah.
It's fun to read.
It puts you in like a different time.
Yeah.
And then it gives you a character of this banker being like, this asshole doesn't know what he said.
The calm before the storm, or one might call the calm before the, what was that Swedish word? Maelstrom. The calm before the maelstrom.
Yeah. I don't think it's, I just remember, I say it's an Icelandic term because I remember in Epcot, there was a ride in the Iceland area or Norway area. I think it was Norway called Maelstrom.
Yeah.
And it was like a boat ride with trolls.
Yeah.
It's now occupied by the Frozen ride.
Aw, that movie's for children. Abruptly in October 1929, hell broke loose on the New York Stock
Market crash alert.
After one of those days of inferno, I wobbled from a hotel bar to a brokerage office. It was 8 o'clock, 5 hours after the market closed. The ticker still clattered. Oh, the market closed at 3 o'clock before. It used to close. It closes at 4 now.
Yeah.
I think
so.
Who cares?
It was near closing.
Money's for babies.
Money's for chumps.
The ticker still clattered. I was staring at an inch of the tape which bore the inscription XYZ 32.
Do you know what that means?
No.
I've read this so many times. Does that mean bad?
No, that's just the stock symbol.
Okay.
Like Apple's is like APPL.
Why did he include that in here? In the comments below.
It had been.
I was staring at an inch of the tape which bore the inscription XYZ 32.
That's just the stock symbol.
Yeah, but like, why did he include that in there?
I don't know why he put that in there.
I feel like he would put that in there if it meant like the stocks were bad.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I guess it was whatever company XYZ 32 is. It had been 52 that morning. I was finished.
Okay, yeah, so it went down by 20 points. Okay. So that's bad.
A lot.
That's a lot.
That's like if
we're men of high finance here. We know what we're talking about.
That's like if Apple went low.
Yeah, that's when like if Apple had 2 bytes in it.
Yeah, instead of 1.
Instead of the 1. You got it. You can do it.
I was finished, and so were my friends. Many friends. The papers reported men jumping to death from the towers of high finance. That disgusted me. I would not jump. I went back to the bar. My friends had,
I've got booze to drink. I'm not going to kill myself.
No, booze is always there.
Yeah.
I went back to the bar. My friends had dropped several million since 10 o'clock. So what? Tomorrow is another day. As I drank, the old fierce determination to win came back. Yeah, there is kind of like a fierce determination that comes with like being drunk. I remember one time I was drunk at my parents' house in Columbus, Ohio. Shout out Tim and Cindy.
The Windy City.
I was drunk. This was, I think, a relapse or what, I don't know. But I was watching a video of Post Malone and his he was getting a delivery of a Mercedes 6x6 or whatever. It's like a G-Wagon, but it has 6 wheels and it's huge.
Post Malone was getting a large car.
Yeah, and he just has Post Malone drinks Bud Light all day, every day.
Good job, Post Malone.
And Bud Light gave him a Bud Light cooler, and I was watching this. But if Post Malone can do this, I could do it.
Do what?
I don't know. It's like he's drinking and managing fine.
Okay.
But it's just like the feeling booze.
Yeah, I know.
It's just like everything's gonna be fine. I can do it.
Yeah, I used it a lot to disregard the consequences and problems of my life.
Yeah.
Escaping. That's all. That's what all it came. I didn't want to drink around anybody after. I initially drank to feel okay around people and with myself, but it finally, once booze quit working for me, I did it more to forget that it quit working for me.
Yeah.
So stock market crash, but he ain't killing himself because there's still booze to drink. That's his answer, and it hasn't quit being his answer yet.
Yeah.
I'll continue. The next morning, I telephoned a friend in Montreal. He had plenty of money left and thought I had better go to Canada. By the following spring, we were living in our accustomed style. I felt like Napoleon returning from Elba.
Ooh.
So that's the first time Napoleon returned from exile. Napoleon was the emperor of France around 1802, and they were like, we don't want an emperor anymore. Go to Elba. And he's like, y'all want me back. And then chaos happened, and then Napoleon snuck back, and they're like, oh, thank God, we missed you.
Yeah, little tiny short guy.
Mm-hmm. He was the bringer of much order after Road Spear and all that stuff.
This is kind of a history podcast sometimes.
Sometimes I'll go
Thanks
off.
to Drew's education.
No St. Helena for me.
Nuh-uh.
So St. Helena was the second time he got exiled, and no one wanted him back. And they're like, fool this twice, shame on us. Get the fuck out to St. Helena.
Him?
Because
Was he doing a bad job, or was he a mean guy?
he just became a little meaner towards the end.
He's a mean squirt.
And they're French.
Yeah.
They don't know what they want.
Too many cigarettes.
There's too many cigarettes and baguettes to be had for them to know what type of government that they want. It got too big. People didn't want to be told what to do, even though they thought they wanted to be told what to do. And they were like, fine, just go to like an even more distant island. We don't want you back. So Bill was like, I'm going to be Napoleon the first time, not the second time. That's what that means. But drinking caught up with me, and my generous friend had to let me go. So it was St. Helena. This time, we stayed broke.
Oh, no.
Yep. We went to live with my wife's parents. I found a job and then lost it as a result of a brawl with a taxi driver.
Bill.
I want to hear that story.
Gosh.
Mercifully, no one could guess that I was to have no real employment for 5 years or hardly draw a sober breath. That's a lot of struggle for 5 years. My wife began to work in a department store, coming home exhausted to find me drunk. That rings true for me because my fiance would find me passed out on the couch and be like, again, like I'm done with this shit.
Were you just drinking beer or drinking hard liquor?
Sometimes hard liquor, sometimes beer, a little bit of a little this, a little that. Just enough to be like, oh, I've got to get to this point, and then I can hide everything before she comes home. And then I'd had this plan. And then I would pass out before that plan would come to fruition. She'd just find me passed out.
I just remembered some movie where some guy drank mouthwash.
There you go.
Some movie where he...
You never drank mouthwash before?
No,
I sure have.
I know.
Yeah, I did.
Does it work?
Yes and no. It fucked my stomach up really bad.
Ugh.
But I did get drunk for like 15 minutes. So I was like, all right. Robitussin and like cough syrup's a lot better.
Oh, Casey Rock has a very funny Robitussin thing.
Yeah.
I saw him last night. He's
yeah?
here. Yeah, we hung out for a minute.
Oh, shit. We'll talk about that afterwards.
Yeah.
Casey Rocket is a fantastic comedian.
Austin comedian. He was at the Laughing Skull last night. He crushes.
Nobody does it like he does.
Nobody.
But yeah, I that my wife coming home exhausted to find me drunk is a real deal for me, because I remember that, and I remember being mad that she found me drunk, and then being like, no, that wasn't supposed to happen, like in my like foggy brain.
Yeah,
like, no. And I remember one time, well, because we live upstairs, and in our apartment, it's a really nice apartment. I'm not trying to like, it's a really nice, no, we lucked out in our apartment. We live upstairs, and I can hear footsteps on this creaky stairs coming up. So I would be, if I was still awake and I hear her coming up because she worked later than me, then I would be like, oh, I still got time. And I'd throw everything in the back porch, like really hustle, and then hustle to bed and act like I just like went to bed early. And she knew like what I was doing every time. But my drunk brain was like, she'll never know. And that was all just an attempt to keep drinking, because that was, once again, my only answer.
Yeah.
I didn't have a way to live my life without booze.
Mm-hmm.
And now I do. Now these 12 steps, and we'll read how he figured that out too.
Yeah.
How Bill figured that out. That was a long, making my fiance very sad diatribe.
You and Bill, one and the same.
One and the same.
It goes without saying.
Going back, page 5. We're rolling through it. I became an unwelcome hanger-on at brokerage places. Liquor ceased to be a luxury, became a necessity. Bathtub gin, 2 bottles a day, and often 3 got to be a routine. Sometimes a small deal would net a few $100s, and I would pay my bills at the bars and delicatessens. This went on endlessly, and I began to awaken very early in the morning, shaking violently. Do you ever have the shakes or any like physical...
Never.
Yeah. I didn't have the shakes either. And I used that as an excuse to keep drinking.
Yeah. One time in college, I was really, really hungover, and I was like kind of shaking, but I was also just really hungover.
Yeah. It helped my hangovers, like the hair of the dog. Like I have, participated in alcohol in the morning to help me like go to work and shit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But I don't remember physically shaking. And that whole reason is like, I don't have the shakes. I don't live under a bridge. And that kept me in and out of the rooms for almost a decade.
I have a house.
Yeah. I have enablers that give me a safety net. A tumbler full of gin followed by half a dozen bottles of beer on the wall would be, he didn't say on the wall.
That's a lot of beer.
Yeah. Would be required if I was to eat any breakfast.
That's a lot of liquid.
This is the start of his day.
That's a lot of liquid. That's like that, not close to, but that Hunter S. Thompson thing.
Yeah.
You ever see that list of his daily thing?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts. Nevertheless, I still thought I could control the situation, and there were periods of sobriety which renewed my wife's hope. Whew. Nevertheless, so he listed all the shit that I had to do just to eat breakfast, and he's like, I got it. Yeah. I got this under control. For me, I never wanted to fully control the situation. I wanted to get drunk as much as I possibly could, but I wanted to show everybody the facade that I can control my situation in order to keep alcohol in my life. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. I was like, I'm not going to give up alcohol, but I want to keep the relationships in my work and everything. Yeah. So I've got to fake it to them to show that I can live a life without completely demoralizing myself every day. That never worked. But that was my version of control. Yeah. Gradually, things got worse. The house was, you give your microphone a little kiss. We can see it now if you give your microphone a little kiss.
It sounds, that's what you can come to expect from them sober boys.
Yeah, we'll read the book and give our microphone a little kiss like this.
If there's any constant in this podcast, it's microphone kisses.
Taylor's going to give his microphone a kiss at least twice. I might give it a kiss at least once.
I'm still mad at Bill's spirit.
Yeah, it eases the tension.
Yeah.
Gradually, things got worse. The house was taken over by the mortgage holder, and my mother-in-law died. My wife and father-in-law became ill. Then I got a promising business opportunity. Stocks were at a low point of 1932, so we're in the middle of the beginning of the Great Depression, and I had somehow formed a group to buy. I was to share generously in the profits, and then I went on a prodigious bender, and the chance vanished.
I've been on a few of those.
Yeah,
that's what my last however many relapses I've had have been just 4-day, week-long benders.
Yeah, you went for it.
They're not very fun.
No, but when you're in the middle of it, you're like, well, I'm already here. Might as well.
It's not even fun then, but it's just like, this is going to stop in a few days.
Has it gotten progressively like sadder and worse? Or is it just kind of just all runs together?
The last one at the beginning of January wasn't...
Jared Rary?
Oh, shut up. It wasn't as bad because I didn't smoke crack or any hard drugs, but I still just drank in my bed for days. And
yeah.
Then eventually...
Played the Donnie Darko song.
I've never seen that movie.
Oh, all around me are familiar
No, just watch movies. I watched all the John Wicks.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Drunk John Wicks.
And you were getting drunk and you're like, I could be John Wick. You just wait.
Drinking beer. Oh, and just... the worst part was drinking a bunch of wine and then drinking wine, throwing up because I was drinking wine too fast, and then just going back and drinking more wine. It's like, well, I still want to get drunk, and just throwing up, drinking.
Why was wine your choice?
Because I started on it.
Oh, okay.
You know, I went through. It's because when I was on the way back from Ohio, I don't condone this behavior, but the whole 9-hour drive, I was just slamming back those little Chardonnays, the Sutter Home
you get
ones.
at the gas station.
So I just drink like one of those an hour, and I was fine to drive because it was like one drink in my system. But it's a very buzzed drive back.
I gotcha.
I've never done. That's the first thing I've ever done.
Did you relapse in Ohio?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What got you to that point? I'm just curious. We never really fully talked about it. Did you war in your head, or you just go? Because I'll tell you, the last time well, you tell me about yours.
Yeah. I was in Ohio. I think before I went, I just hadn't been to a meeting in a minute.
Yeah.
And then I was in Ohio.
It always starts with that. People are like, I quit going to meetings. That's always it.
And it was Christmas time. Everyone was drinking around me. And then my grandparents rented a house, the log cabin in Hocking Hills. Mm-hmm. And I really wanted to drink there, but I didn't. And then my last night in Ohio, I just like, fuck it. And I just basically felt, I don't know. It just like that mental, that blank spot. What was it? Blind spot? this place I've gotten to the past few times where I just get this craving in my head and I can't shake it off.
Yeah, that's it.
And I wasn't calling anybody. I was in Ohio, so I think subconsciously I'm like, I can get away with it.
Yeah, for me, that for my past couple relapses, that's what it was. I would have this like idea in my brain that I was not even like, I can drink now.
Yeah.
I knew at that point I knew I had a problem, and I knew it was best for me to stay in AA and in the program. But the voice, and it's your alcoholism. We call it cunning, baffling, powerful. Yeah. And the powerful part of that was what made it. Yeah. It was like, I'm gonna drink. It was as simple as that. It's like, I'm gonna drink and nothing will stop me. Yeah. And the reality is, if you called anybody, you call me, you called somebody else, and you just talked a little about this, but just anything else, it would probably pass. But when we're in it, when we're in that moment, it's so very difficult to make that decision to pick up the phone and call somebody.
It's a very powerful feeling for me, where I just feel it in my guts. It's like I'm obsessing over it, and I'm like, I go through parts like, okay, I'm gonna fucking drink, and then I'm like going to, and then I don't. I'm like, okay, I'm not, and then eventually it just wins over. Yeah, and there's no defense for me. Yeah, and it's a familiar.
Well, it feels like there's no defense,
right? Yeah. And it's a familiar feeling to me now.
Because there is a defense.
It's in here.
In the book? It's in the computer?
But it's a place I've been to enough times now where I recognize it. But even when I've recognized it gearing up, I'm like,
I gotcha.
So it's the only thing that seems to be working right now is praying, thy will not mine be done a lot, asking God for... Just talking to God more directly.
That's good.
About specific things in regards to self-will. And meeting and calling other alcoholics. But for me, the key right now, I think, is God.
Yeah, that's good. And not to put too much pressure on yourself for the long term of it. I think you're in a good spot of attacking it every single day.
Certainly this podcast will keep us sober.
Yeah, that's the only thing. Sober boys all day. Can't just be sober boy.
Sober boy. No, it can't. It's a we program,
it's a we program.
Not this guy program.
I relapsed a couple, my last relapse, it's not as memorable, but my most memorable relapse, I was in New Orleans, and there was an opportunity for me to take a drink, and this was after I called my sponsor at the time, and I was like, I'm good, but I had not gone to any meetings in New Orleans.
Yeah, NOLA.
And I planned to go to meetings, but I really didn't go. Like, I was like, I'll do it tomorrow. And then I just saw everybody having a really good time, and I wanted to also have I honestly wasn't. And I was like, no one's, I'll just do it for this week. It's not like I'm doing the steps. I wasn't participating in the steps. I wasn't actively working the steps. Yeah. So what I said was, it's not like I'm doing the steps anyways. Yeah. I'll just start over. Yeah. And I was out for almost a year.
What feels different, even though 2 months isn't a long amount of time, what feels different about this time is I actually feel like I don't feel like I'm faking this thing. Yeah. Like, I feel like I'm actually working a program of action, whereas in the past, I don't think I've ever felt that way before. I felt
good.
A little bit.
That's a nice little change.
I guess like a fraud or whatever, but like it just feels different. Right now, today, I can say that. I can't say tomorrow, but
it's a daily thing, and like I said, I hadn't been feeling great this week, but I still do it. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to work out today, but I still did it, and I feel a lot better after doing it. So after you do the action of this thing,
the big thing that we talked about it in No Expectations last night, but it was fear was the topic.
Everybody was at No Expectations last night. You said fear was the topic?
Yeah,
that's a good-ass topic. That runs the alcoholic's life.
One thing I've been praying for recently is, God, can you please redirect this fear to what you would have me be?
That's a great thing.
So whatever this energy is I'm feeling around this fear, you take it from me and have me do your will. Yeah. So, and then it feels like it takes it out of my hands. Yeah. And the control goes over to God.
Nice. Yeah. Fear ran my entire life. That's why I didn't want to do this program wholeheartedly because I was afraid what life would look like if booze was taken away from me.
Yeah.
Because that was the only answer that I had to combat life's problems and consequences. So I was like, you're going to take booze away from me? That's like my ultimate fear. But it wasn't that it was going to be taken away from me. It's that I was going to face life on life's terms. That we say. And I was like, I'm not going to have tools to face life on life's terms because I don't believe in this shit yet. That's the hardest thing for newcomers, to believe in this shit when it hasn't worked for you at the moment. All right.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. That was a sober ass tangent we went on. That was a good one. That's good to know. Where did we leave off? I woke up. This had to be stopped. Wait.
I became an
Yeah. I woke up.
Of 5.
No. I woke up. This had to be stopped. I saw that I could not take so much as one drink. I thought I was through forever.
Oh, you're right.
Before then, I had written lots of sweet promises, but my wife happily observed that this time I meant business, and so I did. Shortly after I became home drunk, there had been no fight. Where had been my high resolve? I simply didn't know. So this was the malady that was mentioned in the doctor's opinion before.
Because I've meant business so many times.
Oh boy, have I ever meant business?
I've meant business.
The promises that I legitimately thought I was making, I was like, yeah, this makes sense. Nope. I hadn't even come to mind. Someone had pushed a drink my way and I had taken it. Was I crazy? Yeah. You have something, bud.
A little bit crazy.
Yeah, a little bit. I began to wonder for such an...
There's a solution. It's right here in this book.
Shh, say quietly. Hey, Bill, don't you know there's a book called Alcoholics Anonymous, you idiot? Pick it up.
Yeah. Hey, Bill, have you tried going to an AA meeting?
Like Quantum Leap. You can with like A for Bill.
Bill, this is Drew and Taylor from the future. Go to an AA meeting.
You got to go to an AA meeting.
What? There's no AA.
Oh, wait. Create an AA.
You're going to meet this guy, Dr. Silkworth.
Yeah. And Dr. Bob. You're going to work together.
And Eppy.
Yeah. Was I crazy? I began to wonder. For such an appalling lack of perspective seemed near being just that. Renewing my resolve, I tried again. Some time passed, and the confidence began to be replaced by cocksuredness. It was a cocky SOB.
Cocksuredness.
Yeah, his cock was so sure.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I could laugh at the gin mills. The gin mill's like, what the fuck is he laughing at?
We're just a mill.
We're just a mill making gin. Now I had what it takes. One day I walked into a cafe to telephone. In no time, I was beating the bar again, asking myself how it had happened. As the whiskey rose to my head, I told myself I would manage better next time, but I might as well get good and drunk then. And I did. We kind of talked a little bit about that when we were talking about you're already in it.
Yeah.
Might as well do it. Pick it on up.
Where?
The remorse. Have you not been following along the entire time?
No, I have been. I just didn't know if you stopped in.
I'm just kidding.
What book is this?
It's the Bible.
Oh, cool. The remorse, horror, and hopelessness of the next morning are unforgettable. The courage to do battle was not there. My brain raced uncontrollably, and there was a terrible sense of impending calamity. I hardly dared cross the street, lest I collapse and be run down by an early morning truck, for it was scarcely daylight. An all-night place supplied me with 12 glasses of ale. 12 beers. What about
very good?
What about a baker's dozen glasses of ale?
He probably did that, and he lied to himself when he wrote it.
But at least it's not 13.
It's a baker's dozen.
My writhing nerves were stilled at last. A morning paper told me the market had gone to hell again. Well, so had I. The market would recover, but I wouldn't. That was a hard thought. Should I kill myself? Ooh. No, not now. Then a mental fog settled down. Gin would fix that.
There you go
2
again.
bottles and oblivion.
Yep.
The mind and body are marvelous mechanisms, for mine endured this agony 2 more years.
Jesus Christ,
crazy.
Bill. My God.
Didn't you,
boy.
Bill, go to a meeting.
Bill, you got to go to an AA meeting at this point.
Call the AA hotline. Come on.
I don't understand why Bill Wilson never called the AA hotline. Thank God he figured it
Yeah,
out.
thank God he figured it out eventually. But this dude could have saved himself a lot of hurt if he'd just gone to an AA meeting.
This is the whole moral.
Sometimes I stole from my wife's slender purse.
It's just a purse, Taylor. What are you? Why are you so immature?
Slender. It was skinny.
It says fat wife, slender purse. We're towards the end of it now, aren't we?
Why? Why did he say slender purse? Going to Bill, you should have.
He's very verbose and he likes to write.
Should have gone to her big fat purse.
Yeah, that's where more of the money is, you idiot.
Here's my money purse.
She can only fit so much money in her slender purse. Her big fat purse has all them sweet, sweet G's.
The other, the big fat purse is hanging out of the other purses, and
No, continue.
that lady that holds you makes you look fat or something. I don't know. The lady you have with you makes you look fat. It doesn't make sense.
We'll finish the paragraph.
It makes sense in my head.
I'm sure it does. Slender purse.
Sometimes I stole from my wife's slender purse when the morning terror and madness were on me. Again, I swayed dizzily before an open window or the medicine cabinet where there was poison, cursing myself for a weakling. He's really going through it at this point.
Yeah, cursing myself for a weakling. The self-hatred was at an all-time high in my last relapse.
Yeah.
Before I really kind of treated this program seriously. So I can identify with that for sure.
There were flights from city to country and back as my wife and I sought escape. Then came the night when the physical and mental torture was so hellish, I feared I would burst through my window, sash and all. He won the pageant. Sash and all.
The sadness pageant.
Somehow I managed to drag my mattress to a lower floor, lest I suddenly leap. The doctor came with a heavy sedative. Next day, found me drinking both gin and sedative. That liquid sedative. This combination soon landed me on the rocks. People feared for my sanity. So did I. I could eat little or nothing when drinking, and I was 40 pounds underweight. My first sponsor in Atlanta, he was closer to you in that he just really drank. Well, no, he was also did a bunch of pills.
I did drugs, but they were more of like a
Xanax.
byproduct.
Yeah. But he fucked up his intestines so much he had to have part of his lower intestine removed.
Shit.
Yeah.
And then did he go back drinking afterwards?
I don't know. I don't remember. Damn. I wouldn't be surprised. This combination soon landed me on the rocks. People feared for my sanity, so did I. I could eat little or nothing when drinking, and I was 40 pounds underweight. Guess I thought I should just read that part.
Yeah.
My brother-in-law is a physician, and through his kindness and that of my mother, I was placed in a nationally known hospital for the mentally and physical rehabilitation of alcoholics.
That's where he met Dr. Silkworth.
Docky Silks?
Docky Silks.
Under the so-called belladonna treatment, my brain cleared. Hydrotherapy and mild exercise helped much. Best of all, I met a kind doctor who explained that, though certainly selfish and foolish, I'd been seriously ill, bodily and mentally. It relieved me somewhat to learn that in alcoholics, the will is amazingly weakened when it comes to combating liquor, though it often remains strong in other respects.
That's what we're talking about. There's amazing personalities, creativity, ingenuity, whatever positive adjective you want to put on a person in the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous. We just can't stop drinking.
Right.
And you got to separate your alcoholism with your own personality. I think we should stop it here.
Okay.
But he's starting to kind of get it. He won't get it until he meets Ebby. His friend Ebby, is it Ebby Thatcher? Yeah.
Margaret Thatcher.
When he meets Margaret Thatcher, and he's so taken with Margaret Thatcher. He'll meet a friend who has gone through a psychic change.
Don't spoil it.
No, this is just like next episode on Bill's story continued.
Bill's story continued.
But it's important to be like, you have to separate your own personality, which is your own, interesting, unique self, from your inability to quit drinking or drugging.
Yeah.
And it's a very difficult thing to do because all I knew was hating on my shit, hating on myself, self-flagellation. Being
so wrapped up in myself that all I can...
Yeah. But I feel like if I was hard on myself enough, then that was, that's good enough. I shit on myself enough that I can move on.
Yeah, this This sucked so much physically. It ought to keep me sober. The memory of just weeks ago, days ago.
But we covered some good stuff.
Yeah.
We went through the shit with Bill. That's a pretty standard kind of alcoholic tale.
Mm-hmm.
Not being able to quit.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, I think he's going to be able to figure something out.
Yeah, I mean, I think he'll get to a meeting eventually.
He'll get to that damn meeting. But we'll come to that next episode.
Okay. This is Taylor Neely.
This is Drew Q.
Signing off once again for goodbye.
Bye.
It's been a pleasure.
Oh my God. It's been fantastic. Just stare at it.